Alright, so I'm going to show you guys how to do the smokestack, or just the stack as they call it. A lot easier way than I originally have been telling some of you. It uses two tools we've used a little bit in the past. One is Loft, and one we're actually going to use the extrude command, but we're going to extrude at a 15-degree taper. So let's get started. And looks like we've got a new part. And here's how I'm going to start this. If I look at the base of this, it's just a plain cylinder. So I'm going to draw that cylinder, 1/2 inch diameter, 1/4 inch tall. So I'm going to start that. 1/2 inch diameter. Again, the E key on the keyboard is extrude, and 0.25 thick. Alright. So, we've got the start of the block, and from that, this is what we're going to do. We're going to use this Loft command. You should have all used it in 5.6 physical property analysis. But basically we're going to draw this, we're going to leave the top of the cylinder as our first sketch, kind of like we did our first triangle in that Loft command practice. The next thing we're doing is creating this circle here, because you can see that the part just kind of lofts from one circle to another. So what we need to know is the diameter and how far away it is. So we know the diameter, 1.25, and the height of this this loft is going to be, it's going to start here at the top of the cylinder, and it's going to work its way up to right here. So this length is not 1.5 like this shows. We have to take a 1/4 inch off. So it's really a 1.25 by 1.25 loft. So the first thing we got to do is create this work plane so that we can actually sketch that second circle. So I'm going to do work plane, and I'm going to do it offset. And the easiest way to do the offset is just click and drag. I'm going to click here in the middle, and if I drag it the direction I want it, it's going to know where to go, and then I just type in 1.25. Hit enter, I zoom out, and there's my work plane. So from there I'm going to create my sketch and my circle. Same center, 1.25 diameter, and I'm going to finish my sketch. Now I should just be able to hit Loft here, which mine is already shown. It's under sweep. Anyways, you're going to click the first face is going to be this excuse me, this circle here. And most of you should just be able to come right up here and click on this circle. If you can't, sometimes it helps to click on this where it says click to add. But most of you won't need to. You should just be able to click right on that. Now, since we are adding material, our option here is already selected to join. We should just hit OK, and we have ourselves the next step. So we've created our base, we've got our loft. Now we need to get this curve back in. And this one here, they don't tell us the diameter of this circle, so we can't do the same thing where we loft, because we can't draw this circle. We don't know what diameter it is. So here is what we're going to do. We're going to start another sketch, and that sketch is going to be on the top of this loft that we just did. But when we do our extrusion from that, we're going to make our extrusion at a taper. And I don't know if anyone's done this before. It's very handy in a case like this, especially where we don't know the size of the shape we're going towards, but we know the angle at which we're going towards it. So excuse me, we know that it's 15 degrees, and we know that we start at this outer 1.25. How far do we need to go? How tall is our extrusion going to be? Well, that's where we see this gap here is going to be a 1/4 inch. The difference between these two dimensions, because they have the same base dimension, one stops here and the next one continues a 1/4 inch. So we're going to make an extrusion of a 1/4 inch depth at a 15-degree angle, and this is what it looks like. So we'll start our sketch. All we have to do is create a sketch of that circle, so I'm just going to hit project geometry by clicking in the middle of this, getting that yellow outline. That is my new sketch. All I have to do. once I have that, I can actually click extrude. It recognizes my enclosed loop. I wanted my distance 0.25, there it is. Now here's that taper, it's under more, and very few people again have seen that. We've changed direction in adding materials, cutting materials, but under more we can actually change this taper. Now they give us a 15-degree taper, so I'm going to type 15, but watch what happens. I type 15, it goes 15 outwards. We want 15 inward. So all you need to do is go back to the front of that number and put a negative sign, previews it, and so we've got our well, this is again our angle. So our depth is 0.25, our taper is -15. We can hit OK, and look what we've got. Looks pretty darn close, doesn't it? All we're missing is this whole extrusion in the middle. So I'm going to read this off to you, just like it is to be read technically. We have a counter bore hole. The inner hole right here is that 0.375, and from the very top of the stack down is 1.5 inches. The counter bore itself is 0.875 in diameter. You can see that's bigger than 0.375. And this counter bore itself is only going to go down 0.375, which is 3/8 of an inch. So in order to do all of that at once, I would not recommend just doing new sketches and sketching circles. We're going to actually use the hole command. But with hole command, you need to make sure that you have a center point. Do not sketch a circle. Just simply click right where you want the center of your hole to be. And once we have the center marked, we can use the command. Just hit the icon. Most likely, it'll pick up on the fact that you already had that center point selected. If not, just click on that center point and this window comes up. And you'll see that we've been using drilled holes, but we need something a little different than that. We want one that looks more like a counter bore. So if you hover over it, you can see counter bore. This one here, the only difference is spot face. We'll never use spot face, that's more industry use. This one down here is another one we'll use a little bit more commonly, counter sink, and the difference is you have that tapered face to it rather than just a set of circles. So anyways, we need to fill in all these dimensions. So if you notice, we've got our counter bore itself. That was actually 0.875 from the drawing. That was that larger first circle. The depth of our counter bore was 0.375. So we need to change that. Specify the depth of the counter bore. And then our through, as they call the through hole, that is going to go 1.5 inches. So we'll set that up. That comes again from telling me that this smaller circle is 1.5, and that size of that is 0.375. So that's down here, 0.375. So counter bore is larger hole with 375 for depth. The smaller hole is 0.375 diameter and 1.5 inch depth. Again, you may not actually have all of these. If you have a through all, you will not have this dimension here to specify how far this goes. So please make sure that you have through all changed to distance, and then you'll get the option for that number. Everything else will be the same. You've got your drill point. It's preset to 118 degrees. You should be good. You hit OK, and we have ourselves a smokestack. Notice that I've got this yellow plane still sitting here. I really encourage you guys to eliminate any of those from your visibility when you can. So I can't just right click and delete it, or it'll delete any work that I've done on it. But instead I can go down and click visibility, and visibility just hides it. So it's still there, you just can't see it. So that is the stack, and to me that's a lot easier than the first method I recommended, which was the revolve command.